Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, um, Kunle, in the last 1 week or so, the Nigerian institutions and personalities in Nigeria has risen to the events or the happenings in South Africa, and there have been various reactions to what's happening in South Africa. Personally, I I agree with the fact that enough is enough. You have to protect your citizen at some point. But before we went on break, I asked you a question if any Nigerian has died in the spate of recent attacks, and you confirmed that to your knowledge, to the best of your knowledge, no Nigerian has been killed. So we can take it as in the spate, a recent spate of attacks, it's been more destruction of Nigerian properties than actually killing of Nigerians. Neither
Yes.
is good anyway. But in the last 3 years, about 127
Yes.
Nigerians have been killed in South Africa. So, and we've not really, as Nigerians, we've not really seen any reaction or any um, purposeful action from Nigerian government before now. So, this event shows that the sensationalization of social media of the events happening in South Africa in recent weeks actually put pressure on the government to make some decisions. And when we say these decisions, I looked at it earlier this week on Monday, I think. There was a joint press conference between the High Commissioner now of South Africa and Nigeria and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema. There was a press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They talk about the memorandum of understanding that they've had with the South African government, which hasn't been actioned in 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 the past. And the president confirmed that we'll be sending a special envoy to South Africa. And 3 days later, the vice president is withdrawing from the World Economic Forum happening in Cape Town. And the day after, the ambassador to, High Commissioner to South Africa, Kabiru Bala, was withdrawn or asked to return back to Nigeria. Yeah, so a lot has been happening. And as a Nigerian, and I look at it like, okay, there are too many bullets flying around, and I mean figuratively here. So too many actions and too many things, and things just keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and not seeing a bit of method to the madness. So that's gonna guide the next pair of questions I'm gonna be asking you about this. Do you think in the past Nigerian government has done enough to actually protect Nigerians living in South Africa? Or when these incidents of killings happen, what do Nigerians in South Africa, what do they usually do? Or destruction of properties?
I do not think Nigerian government have done enough, and or maybe should I say they haven't been doing much at all. I remember there was a time we had Abike Dabiri. She was here, and what we've been seeing is they have these meetings, they have a public statement, and we haven't seen any action at all, and that is very worrisome. Is disturbing, and be it loss of life or loss of property or loss of whatever it is, we want action beyond condemnation and letters and all sort of communication that they do have. So we haven't really been able to see the government doing much. And until now that there's a plane that is going to take distressed Nigerians back home for those who wants to go back to Nigeria. And I think beyond that, is there a plan for those guys to when they get back to Nigeria? What is going on, and the citizens that have lost their businesses and what have you, what is the government going to do? Is there a plan in place to help them to recover? If some of the those business, so we do not really know, or are they on their own? So we haven't been able to get that sort of message from the government. And I just hope they can. Well, quite a lot of people have applauded the government for for boycotting the World Economic Forum, for the messages that they've been saying back and forth, and we just hoping that, because when these attacks, when the calmness gets restored, we all get to forget, and we only get to talk about this again when it happens again, and we are just hoping the government can really give us a committed plan and approach to this, and we can get to see results.
To add to what you've said, on a personal note, I don't think I didn't agree with the withdrawal from the World Economic Forum, and I know I might get flack for that. Not because I think Nigeria should attend the World Economic Forum, but I think no stage is bigger than that to actually drive your point home. One, Nigeria, the incident that happened in the last 1 week, I understand that the president is coming to South Africa next week. And in my last video on this, I talked about that this is better sorted by President Muhammadu Buhari and Cyril Ramaphosa getting into one room and having discussion about this, rather than having envoys going about the place and postponing things that are as important as this. So I was of the opinion that the first thing you do, or when things like this happen, is I don't see why Nigerian president is too big to actually get on plane. He's made a lot of journeys in his first tenure in Nigeria. He's virtually traveled to all countries in the world. To get on the plane and get down to South Africa and say, let's sort this out. Enough is enough, rather than sending teams and all that. And that in itself gives confidence to Nigerians living in South Africa that their government has the government have their backing, and it's not business as usual. That people talk about it in sensation of the news and all dies down once it dies down. And also, I understand that Airpeace is the one that's volunteered to lift Nigerians in South Africa to Nigeria. But obviously, I believe that's a corporate social responsibility on the part of the Airpeace. It's not actually a Nigerian government doing. It might be done in concert with the Nigerian government, but I don't think it's Nigerian government's doing. But even if it is, it gives me a concern, which I'm going to put back to you as someone on the ground, that if Nigeria has withdrawn the High Commissioner, who's protecting Nigerians in South Africa?
Yeah.
So are you offering people to return? You're offering some Nigerians to return back home if they want to. So who's looking after the interest of the Nigerians that are in South Africa? If you withdraw the High Commissioner, even before you lifted the first person.
Yeah, but maybe we Consul General can take over, because we have consulates in Johannesburg. We have the High Commission in Pretoria, and they both report in separately to Abuja, and because they have two different mandates that they are actually provided to the Foreign Affairs in headquarters in Abuja. Yeah, maybe the Consul General would be in charge.Maybe, I can't confirm, but maybe he would be in charge.
That's a maybe. That's a maybe, and that's a maybe from you, because you're a man of, you're obviously a journalist, so you understand. I'm just trying to go to a layman or ordinary man on the street level now. So if I'm living somewhere, obviously I'm not in Nigeria at the moment, and I hear that my country has withdrawn my ambassador or the High Commissioner I've got in the country, the first thing is worry, regardless of what's going on, whether there's a consulate somewhere else. The first thing is worry, because that in itself is a big puzzle in the jigsaw that you remove. Yes, to make a statement, but was that decision made with a clear head? Because the High Commissioner of South Africa is still in Nigeria. So what's the end game here? Are we just throwing tantrum because we feel offended without actually taking any serious action? So that's my concern. But we leave that open, and let's hope things are done to actually to the betterment or to the advantage of Nigerians living in South Africa. So let's talk more about this people or the people that are given the option to return to Nigeria. You said you lived in South Africa for over 13 years, and
Yes.
you've got your brother there, and you probably have a family, or you're planning to have a family soonest in South Africa. How easy is this to just wake up one day and because there's a problem, and the only option you've got is the place you've known as home for over a decade, someone just tells you it's no more home? How does it feel? What do you think of the sort of adjustment? Do you think Nigerians, okay, let me make it compounded. Do you think
Yeah.
Nigerians in South Africa are actually a reasonable solution to just leave South Africa to Nigeria just because of the fear of the attacks and on their properties and their lives?
I think well, it's quite relative because I may not have been directly affected by the attacks, and
Yeah,
so my opinion might
quite
not really
subjective. Yeah,
it might be very
yeah.
subjective, and I think right now I can't really confirm the numbers because I think by Monday I will be able to have an accurate numbers for you. But I know I read on polls that about 300 Nigerians have registered to go back home because the consulate released a press release on Thursday about informing Nigerians that are here that would like to go back home. And they provided some numbers and some representative of some Nigerians in the communities, and also details about the consulate and High Commission, just giving us a direction on how to apply. And they provided in that document, it says if you do not have passport or permit or expired passport, it is not a problem, and it is free of charge. So there might be some Nigerians that are not doing so well in South Africa, and I think they might want to make use of the good gesture of providing a free flight back home. I think there might be some Nigerians that might want to do that, and there might be some that also feel like, no, we're not going back. We are already here. We're going to make the most out of it, and I think I'll have to, because I'm part of the things I plan to do on Monday is to interact, to engage with the representatives, and if it's possible, they can just give us the numbers, because we also like to run a story about it and also talk to some of the guys that are willing to go back home. They can talk to us anonymously if they don't want to reveal their identities. We just want to also get to know about their experience
How
on
they feel
what
and their experience.
yes. But I know, like, there are some Nigerians that are really, really affected, and there were some that are probably not doing so well, maybe health-wise and business-wise, financially, and they might just want to take the opportunity to go back home.
Right. Okay. Also, the Nigerian government, they said it repeatedly in the last 1 or 2 weeks that they are pressing for economic compensation and restitution for Nigerians that have been affected by this incident from the South African government. Personally, and this is a pessimistic Segun talking as a Nigerian. Sometimes we talk tough. Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Our government talk tough in the heat of passion or in sensation, and you just find out that nothing is happening. So a lot of people will probably plan their lives on, oh well, I should be expecting some form of compensation or restitution for the properties I've lost in this incident, and some of them will probably not get on the plane even if they have nothing else because they're expecting some form of compensation, because once you get on that plane, I'm not sure how you can be adequately compensated.
True.
So, and if you've got nothing to fall back on when you get home, so you kind of want to cling on to what you think can actually give you something here, because yeah, you've got loss of life. So I just, do you think that that compensation is something, is there any percentage or anything in your mind that thinks that makes you think that that compensation is something that can work based on your experience of the South African government, having lived there for 13 years, and something to hope to hope for by Nigerians living in South Africa. That okay, well, I've probably got some money coming up from the South African government, and then I can get my life back on track.
I think I'm not sure how the two countries are going to work this out, because it requires a lot of research, and a lot of accounting work needs to be done, and verification and all sort of things. And I do not think right now all we've been hearing is estimate of what the loss could be like. And mind you, some of these businesses, because of I'm trying to analyze this from looking at the locations of where these attacks actually happened, and it happened in the Johannesburg CBD, Central Business District, and most of these businesses, they are car shops, mechanics, some are car repair shops, and some are second-hand dealerships that some Nigerians are operating here in South Africa. So in Johannesburg rather. So if we should compare the two nations, the kind of business, like when Nigerians retaliated by going to attack ShopRite and your MTN and likes of them, it's not like Nigeria had a business like ShopRite in South Africa. These are individuals who so ShopRite is a multinational company, and they're quite bigger.
It's a franchise as well.
It's a franchise. So if we're to compare, I'm just trying to compare the magnitude of the loss.
So you've got small and micro entity of Nigerians working in South Africa, small businesses.
Yes.
Then you've got in Nigeria the attacks on the multinationals that actually create jobs for Nigerians.
For Nigerians,
yeah.
Yes. So I think if I don't think it's something that is really complex for the two government to resolve, because it is not really something really big, even though there are quite a few businesses that were touched on that day. I think we have not seen anyone receiving any compensation in the past, and I'm not sure if they'll be doing something different now. And I'm just not sure if I should hold my breath onto this or not. And I do not know if it's going to happen or not. So I would not be able to. But I think we should tax the government. The Nigerian community should actually tax the government to actually not relent in getting that done, because it will not only restore the confidence back onto Nigerians, but also to send a message to South Africa that whatever happens to our citizen, will always hold you accountable. So if they get away with this again, it will encourage things to just be like the way it has always been. And I think our government should actually try to find whatever avenues or means of getting this. So it might not be a full lump sum. It might just be a little bit of compensation here and there, and we do hope that these citizens can get back on their feet.
Well, thanks for that. To add to that, you said sending a message to South Africa that the Nigerian government will always have the back of the citizen. Yeah, that's important. And to actually make that a bit wider, I think it's high time Nigeria takes a stand and protect in our foreign policies and protect Nigerians living in other countries. In past, we've had in Libya of Nigerians that are trying to get into Europe, being sold on the slave market, and a lot of them have been repatriated back to Nigeria. Some still haven't been made their way back to Nigeria till now. But nothing of what is happening now, like this conversation, ever happened with Libya. So there wasn't any conversation to say why are people actually trading Nigerians on the slave market. Some people were on the slave market and traded for more than a year And nothing like that happened. It was just like, oh, sorry, yeah, we'll take our people back once it becomes public knowledge. So yeah, it's not only for the benefit of Nigerians in South Africa, and that's not to undermine what's going on in South Africa, but I think
Yes.
it is for the benefit of all Nigerians that in other countries of the world that Nigeria might have multilateral or bilateral arrangements with.
Yeah.
And also about the compensation that you said that we can only task the Nigerian government to have a workable plan to at least give these people something, some sort of restitution, whether in full or in part, of
Yeah.
what they've lost. Yeah, I watched the press conference of the Speaker of Nigeria, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, and he said that the House will set aside some facilities, I don't want to call it money or resources, to actually help Nigerians that have been affected by these incidents to actually get the due compensation from the South African government. I don't know if it's going to be against insurance companies or against South African government or through sanctions or through memorandum of understanding. I don't know. But let's hope that between the federal government, the executive arm, and the legislature, they can work out some modalities that will bring succor to Nigerians affected by this incident and within the shortest time possible. Well, yeah, so that is that about that. If you don't mind, we'll take another short break. When we come back,
Okay.
we'll wrap up on how we can deal with this incident or this
Okay.
occurrence moving forward as individuals and as a as a nation. Stay
Okay.
with us.